Hello everyone, welcome to this review of the Aurra premium format by Sideshow Collectibles. This is one of Sideshow's older pieces from their Star Wars line. It's a quarter scale featuring mixed media. That means this is a sculpted statue that has fabric parts on it. And of course, as I said, this is Aurra. Some of you might know who that is, some of you might not. If you're a diehard Star Wars fan, I'm pretty sure that you do know who this is. She's only seen for a very split second in the Phantom Menace during the pod race. Other than that, she's also featured in the animated Clone Wars series, where she's more of a popular character. So yeah, there you have it. Now, this is one of Sideshow's older pieces, and due to the fact that she's not that famous a character, I feel that this piece has gone under the radar for many collectors at least. But to be quite honest, personally, this is actually one of my favorite Star Wars premium formats. I don't exactly know why that is. I think there are some things that I could point out or point at that might make this one of my favorite pieces. But overall, I think it's the fact that this is a very well-made statue. It has many of the qualities that I like in terms of pose and expression and everything. So I find it to be one of the more iconic pieces, even though it's not that famous a character. I've had many other Star Wars pieces in my collection, like Anakin and Darth Maul and Count Dooku and others, I think. I've actually sold many of those, but I've still kept on to this one. And one of the reasons is that I'm displaying this statue with my Boba Fett premium format, as you can see him in the background there to the right. And I find that these two characters, and particularly these two statues, go so well together when displayed next to each other. It's like there are many things that are, well, identical or similar between the two statues in terms of expression and pose and everything. So I find that they complement each other quite well, and I think that's one of the reasons that I've had a hard time getting rid of this particular statue, because I just really like the way that it looks in my collection. Anyways, I'm going to do the usual thing and zoom in, and I'm also going to show you a lot of pictures in this review so you can really see some of the details and the stuff that I mention as we move on. So give me 2 seconds while I set up the camera and let's have a look at her face and the portrait. Alright guys, here we go. Now, one of the main selling points about this statue to me is the face. I find that the sculpt here is just amazing, and it's very characteristic and very convincing. But it doesn't really look like the actress who played this role in the movie, and that's kind of important to mention. So the likeness isn't really there. But still, I just really like this sculpt here. I find it to be very detailed and very convincing, and it looks like a real person in my eyes. If you look at the eyes, or around the eyes, I don't know how well my camera translates this, but there's supposed to be kind of a banding or a mask or something surrounding her eyes and going out to her temples, but you can't really see that much, and I bet that it's even harder to see in this video. If you look at the promotional photos of this character, you'll see that there is a kind of more evident darker area surrounding the eyes, but this is how it looks in the statue form, and it's a minor thing in my eyes because she still looks amazing with her white pale skin here, I think. On the back we have this hair, which is colored in 2 different main colors, a red and a more green brownish thingy. It's kind of difficult to tell what that color really is, maybe yellow, and it just looks really convincing, I think. She has this antennae on her forehead, or on top of her head, which is a metal rod that goes right into a hole in her head, and that's just because the character has that. I don't really know what that's supposed to be. But anyways, if you do get this piece and you unbox it, do keep an eye out for this slight or small metal rod, because it can easily get lost in the unpackaging process. Anyways guys, I really like this face here, and I think that's one of the things that really draws me into this piece. So it just looks amazing, I think. Let's zoom out, have a look at her body and the fabric parts that are also in play here, so just give me 2 seconds. Alright guys, here we go. Now, as you can see, this is a premium format in the old meaning of the words, because in the old days premium format meant that the statue would be quarter scale, of course, but also that you would have these mixed media or fabric parts going on, and we do have that here. Today, premium format only means that the statue is quarter scale. But in any case, as you can see, we have this orange jumpsuit here, which looks really nice, and it fits the sculpt perfectly all the way around. But we also have this brown vest going on here, which is also made from fabrics. And then of course her holsters and her belt are made from some kind of leather material. I don't know if it's genuine leather or if it's just something that looks like or resembles leather. But it looks very convincing in any case. I also really like these small chains that are dangling from various parts of the belt and from the holsters. It does add some kind of dimension and realism to this piece. And on the back, as you can see, there are some nice details on the belt here and also on the back of the vest. I don't know what all these devices are for. They are not really explained or anything, so just go with it and imagine that they are some kind of utility tools or whatever. She's dual wielding blasters, which means that she's got a blaster on each of her hips, and they're not supposed to be taken out, but you probably could pick this one out if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because it's not really supposed to, and you wouldn't get anything out of it really. On her left blaster, she's got her hand resting, which looks really nice, and again, this is part of the pose or expression of this piece, kind of an relaxed or arrogant kind of pose, I would say, and it looks really nice because it just really emanates kind of this character's personality somehow. I don't really know how to explain it more than that. But the use of fabrics in any case is really nice in this case. I find that it really complements the character and the overall feeling and impression that this statue gives you when you look at it. So it's really nice. And the only downside I can really think of when it comes to the use of fabrics is that it gets worn down over the course of time. And also you just need to treat it carefully. As you can see on the front here, she's got this stitching down the middle here. It looks kind of stressed from where I'm sitting right now, but it's not going to break or anything like that. But that's just the thing with the use of fabrics, it is going to get worn and you really have to treat it carefully. But when it works well, it really does a lot for the character, I find. So yeah, I find this to be a very good put together statue with a nice mix of mixed media and a perfect sculpt, I think. Right, let's have a look at the legs and the feet and the base and all that. Now, the first thing that you'll notice is this little bit here. This is the exclusive piece. This statue was made in a regular and exclusive version, and I got the exclusive. So this is basically a carrying case of some sort, containing 4 lightsabers, and all that this does is really just to describe or add background to this statue or character, that she's a Jedi killer maybe, or an assassin. So yeah, it just sets the mood kind of. It's not really crucial, and I wouldn't say that this is in any way a must-have thing. So if you only can get the regular one, go for that instead. It's not really a must-have this. Alright, now back to the statue. Now, as you can see, her leggings here, the orange one goes right into her boots here, and the boots are sculpted, but in the same brown color as the other brown bits on this statue. She has this long rifle or sniper rifle blaster thing going on, that she's resting on the top of the base here. It's one big piece that is inserted into her wrist. I'll show you a picture of that. But in any case, this looks really nice, and the base here is covered with some kind of sandy area, and I do believe that this is probably supposed to look somewhat like the balcony that she's standing on in the movie, because she's looking at this pod race from above, and it would seem like that is kind of what they're going for here. But it looks really nice. It's a rather small base, and it doesn't need to be that big in order to support this statue, because she's kind of, well, what could I say? She's kind of slim, or she doesn't take too much space actually, and she doesn't need that much space because her legs are kind of gathered, and she's just standing here in a rested pose. So the base is kind of small, which is actually kind of nice because it makes it easy to display this piece in your collection. On the back here we got more details, but it's nothing really worth mentioning. It looks nice and convincing and all that, and it feels pretty cool. But I really like the design and the theme here, and I find that it goes well together with the Boba Fett premium format. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that over there to the right. I find that these two bases kind of support each other somehow. Also, this is of course your typical Star Wars base. I'm just gonna remove this now. So you have this black edge going all the way around. And I really like the way that all the Star Wars statues kind of have this kind of base here. It really unites them somehow. That's really nice. And this is just 2 pouches that are hanging in this strap from the top of the sniper rifle, which is also very nice. And again, I really like when you have stuff just dangling in an organic and natural way. It kind of adds some kind of realism or authenticity to the statue, I find. But overall, I really like this, and it looks really nice, I think. I'm gonna zoom out now, and I'm gonna wrap up this review. I think I covered most of the things that I wanted to when it comes to this base. So overall, I really like this piece. I don't really know what it is, but for some reason this statue just speaks to me, and it really, to me, reminds me of Star Wars. To most people, this probably wouldn't be the most iconic piece in terms of Star Wars, but I don't know what it is. That's just something that really reminds me of that franchise when I look at this piece. And I really find that this piece goes well together with the original Boba Fett premium format. I find that both of their poses just are very relaxed and expressive at the same time, and they just go well together when they're displayed next to each other. The use of fabrics here is just really nice, I think, but it's also of course one of the things that can give you some headaches in the future, because fabrics will wear down if they're not treated carefully. So you have to be kind of on the lookout for that in any case. But overall, I just really like this character also. She's not that well known from the movies, as I said, but she is featured in the series, the animated Clone Wars series. And there's just something about this character design that I really like. And the white pale skin is probably also one of the reasons for that. It just looks so remarkable, I think. And Sideshow did a great job putting that into this statue, I think. So I can only give this piece my highest recommendations. It's definitely a solid release by Sideshow. I don't really know what the market value of this piece is today, because I see both low prices, but I also see high prices. Maybe because this is one of Sideshow's older releases. Yeah, I don't really know why that is. But to me, this is a keeper so far, at least. She's beaten Anakin and Count Dooku and Darth Maul when it comes to me selling Star Wars pieces in my collection. I still have this piece, and I still have it next to my Boba Fett, and I find that they just go so well together that I have a hard time finding the courage to break them up, and I don't really feel the need to either right now. So I don't know, I think I'll keep her for quite a while into the future. So yeah, I hope you found this review useful and informative. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead of course and post them below. And remember to subscribe if you haven't already to my channel, and like this video. It really helps a lot, guys. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.